Okay, so we have an issue, a job site issue with some grout shading. This is a job site issue. Not all YouTubers are willing to show their mistakes and job problems. I like doing it so that you can learn from them, and also we as a community can learn together. So if you know why this grout shading is happening, please leave it in the comment section below, so again we can all learn together, we can all get better together. What we have is these really splotchy areas of grout. Now this is Custom's Polyblend Plus unsanded grout, and usually when we're using these subway tiles, tight joint, we go with an unsanded grout. But what we have is some really inconsistent shading. We have light areas which are supposed to be the color, because this is the ash color. So it's supposed to be this lighter color, and then we have these really dark splotches that just, they look like they never dried out. But this job has been done for about a week and a half, so it's got plenty of time. The customer called me last week. He said, hey, we got some grout shading stuff happening. I said, okay, well, let's just make sure it's all the way dry. We'll give it another few days, and it hasn't really changed. Now, the interesting thing about this job is that it looks like the shading is happening, although they're random areas, they're kind of consistent. We have a lot that's happening in the corner of the walls, and we have a lot that's happening in the niche. And then the more open field areas, we don't have as much shading. So that's leading me to believe that it has something to do with how the thin set was curing behind the wall. And that's a theory. Again, I don't know. So if you have an idea, leave it in the comment section below. But all the grout was mixed up the same. It was all applied the same. It was all wiped the same. But in these just certain areas, it's really splotchy. So this is installed with Schluter All Set. So this is a 6x12 ceramic tile. We used Schluter All Set thin set. The back wall was set first, so that was on Wednesday. On Thursday, the side walls were set, and then on Friday it was grouted. It's not like we set it and jumped right on it and tried to grout it. The thin set should have had enough time to cure, especially Schluter All Set, which has a chemical cure. And again, that might be kind of playing into things. If there's some kind of chemical cure going on with the thin set, maybe it's reacting with the grout in certain areas as the moisture is trying to evaporate, because it's Schluter All Set on Go board, which is completely waterproof backer board. There's nowhere for the water to evaporate going that way. It all has to come out this way. So I think, again, this is my theory, that for some reason the way that the thin set was curing and evaporating, that it was causing these inconsistencies, because that's usually the problem. If you have grout shading, it's that the grout isn't all curing at the same rate, so it's going to be darker and lighter in some areas. So the solution to this is just going to be, we're just going to have to scrape out these dark areas. So I would say overall we probably have about 75% good grout, which is the light color, and we have about 25% bad grout, which is the dark color. So when we do this, we just use we use our razor knife, and we just scrape out very delicately the areas. And when you do this, you need a lot of razor blades. So I got a whole big pack of blades. There's like 500 blades, and we're just gonna keep switching them out. I do like maybe one good grout joint, and then I'll switch out my blade, get it sharp again, and do another grout joint. So you just really have to figure on using a lot of blades when you're doing this. So I'm gonna work on this grout joint right here. You can see this is dark and then this is light. So in this corner, it seems like the bad grout kind of went into the corner. I'm gonna start right here. So first thing I'm gonna do, I got a very sharp blade here, and I'm just gonna kind of score lightly. I'm not pushing really hard. So I'm gonna try to remove about this much. So I'm just going right over it at first, and then I'm gonna take my blade and put it in an angle in that same groove, and then just kind of work almost like a V. I want to create like a little V groove in this grout. So I'm going to go on the bottom And then I'm gonna try to not have my arm in a shot. So yeah, I create a V. I started by going straight in, and then I went at an angle this way, and then I went at an angle this way, and I created a nice groove. And as long as we get about 50% of that grout out of the joint, that's all we need, especially for non-sanded. It's gonna stick really good in this joint. That's one of the things we have going for us, is that it is non-sanded, and you don't need as deep of a grout joint for that grout to really hold in there. So yeah, so that's basically what we got to do. Just go through and manually scrape out the bad areas of grout. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully we don't chip any tiles. Again, that's one of the things that you can run into. So you just really have to take your time, you know, almost just count your losses, be like, hey, this is gonna be a pain in the butt. It's gonna take me all day to get this done. I'm gonna take my time, because if you try to start rushing this and if you get frustrated, you're gonna start chipping tiles and you're gonna run into a whole lot more work. And that may happen anyways. If we're able to do it without chipping any tiles, I'll be stoked. But if not, you know, we'll be ready to replace a tile if we have to. So again, this is just one of those unfortunate things about, you know, what we do. There's things that are out of our control. There's things, you know, maybe this had something to do with the water we use, the tap water outside. Again, I don't think so though, because it would have been all over the place if it was. It's just these kind of sporadic places that have the shading problem happening. So I don't know. So a lot of scraping, a lot of blades, and then once we get it out, we'll put the new grout in. Okay, so we got all of the grout scraped out in the shaded areas that we needed to get out. Now it's time to grout it. I did a test because I wanted to make sure that what we were doing was going to work. So I actually did a couple small areas that we scraped out right at first, and it's been about an hour and a half or so. The grout has dried to the correct light color, so what we're doing is going to work. Pleasantly surprised about that. So yeah, and I hope if you're an installer, I can give you a little bit of inspiration. When you do get a callback like this, just take care of it. If you want to be in business for a long time like I have been, just come fix it. These are small little hiccups. These are little bumps in the road that you almost have to expect. We're not perfect. Not every job is going to come out exactly like we hope it would. So these little issues that I call them, or job problems, they're just part of doing business. So when you're doing your estimates, make sure you put enough time in to account for every once in a while you're going to have one of these things come up. This is a happy client. This is actually the second job that we've done for them. We did their other bathroom. About, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, and that came out great. And that's why we got hired to do this one. So customer service is key if you're dealing in residential remodel. Pick up that phone when you get those callbacks. Take care of it promptly. Don't make excuses. Don't kick the can down the road. Just come out and fix it. In the end, it's all going to work out. So all we got to do now is grout the rest of the shower, the areas that we got out, and our customer will be 100% happy, and I'll be happy. And just remember, guys, some days you make money and some days you make friends. Last but not least, I love you. I love being your tile coach. We'll see you on the next video.